YouTube, hello, how's it going? Sorry for the extended absence. I think it's been about a couple of weeks since I've done a video, but you know, just like everybody else, I got an everyday job. Sometimes it gets busy, sometimes it doesn't, and as with the new regime up at the federal government, things have gotten a bit complicated, as you guys well know if you kind of follow that type of stuff. But I'm here, I got some time, so I figured I would give you guys a 4-month update on my 2023 Subaru WRX VB generation, and giving you my thoughts on, do I regret my purchase? Is it do I get the proverbial buyer's remorse with this vehicle? And I don't know if you guys know enough of me or my videos. I'm pretty sure you know the answer to that. As you can see on the exterior front, I didn't do too much just yet. I'm kind of taking my time with this thing, but I am, I guess, quick update before the update. You see, this is why, for those of you who don't who fancy carbon fiber front lips, if you on your daily driver, I wouldn't recommend it. This thing's already cracked over here on this front lip, and a paint chip over here for the from the infamous potholes that are plaguing our world today. So with that aside though, I mean, that's an easy replacement. I do plan on, I'll replace it with another front lip, but I do also plan on, which is referring to my quick update, changing the style here. I think I'm not gonna do the, as you can see on the mirror caps as well, I don't think I'm gonna stick with this color scheme, just due to, I guess it's a bit of a surprise, the wheels that I picked out, that I priced out last night, it just won't mesh, and I'm kind of like I want everything to kind of flow together. And with the wheel setup that I'm going with, I was gonna do the black STI wheels at one point. I know I said that in a previous video, but I don't think that I am gonna do that anymore. I found some wheels and a tire combination that really suits this car, which is gonna prompt me to going into a different direction other than staying with the cherry blossom pink look, which I do still like it, don't get me wrong, but you know, things change, and I've been sitting with it for about 3 months or so into my ownership of the car, and I think I'm gonna switch it up, get something a little bit more, I say different. I mean, I've seen a couple of cars like this. This is why I picked the cherry blossom pink, and I think it's a hell of a look. But I'm just not. I just want to be a little bit more separated from the pack, so to speak. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm definitely going to switch that up with the wheels and tire setups that I'm going with. So stay tuned. You guys will definitely see that. And also, I guess working our way to the back here, I love that rumble, the growl that this car has with the Remark axle back, man. It's, to me, it's great. It's great, but I do plan on going full exhaust on this car, and also an equal length header to go with the full exhaust system. So my point of doing that is definitely leaning more towards building the most efficient VB that I can build, and with efficiency comes full exhaust instead of axle backs. So more money out of my pocket, but I think it would be a hell of a project to do, and it won't happen overnight, so don't expect too much as of within the next couple of months. But It's definitely in the works. I do have to finish my baby first, which is the GR86. I do got to finish what I'm doing with that car because track season is just about here. So I definitely got to finish the preparations for that car. And, you know, I'm definitely planning on doing some other things with this car, but it will definitely have to take a back seat for now. So this is what you will definitely see at least for another couple of months before you kind of see where I would really want to go with this car. And then also, quick note, I guess I should pop the hood before we get into the driving portion of this video. Let's do this. So I learned yesterday, well, the day before that actually, if you're on a stage 2 tune for Cobb, I put, as you can see, I took off the parent intake, and the reason for that was I was getting really bad airflow over the last couple of days, to the point to where the car would want to shut off. And I definitely need to put the weather stripping here because that's looking kind of nasty, but I'll do that eventually. I don't think it bothers it too much. But as you can see here, I put the stock box back on with the Cobb intake, and the reason for that is because the bad airflow that I was getting from the parent intake was just unbearable for the car, and the car just wasn't acting correctly. And I did get into the forums and the Facebook groups and asked, you know, what the reason for that was, because I believe I installed everything right, which I did get up under the car yesterday and figure out that I did install everything right. But the problem is that the off-the-shelf tune that I got with this car was only just for the Cobb part. So with me interchanging the intake, it definitely was making the car it made the car act a little different, and I felt like I was losing power when I was going at speed. So for me, all I did was, let's just, you know, do process of elimination. It's kind of like building a computer, I guess. And I just put the stock box back on, and the airflow is a hell of a lot better. And actually the car feels quicker with the way that this car is set up now, with the stock box and the Cobb filter in it. So I think it kind of does the same thing as if when you're putting in the filter in the GR86, it gives you a little bit more power, a little bit more flow. I did take out the little plastic in the air box, that the little extra filter that they throw in there. I did cut that out so I can bring in as much air as I can when I'm getting air for the turbo. So I did change that. So now my car is operating on all cylinders. It feels better. It sounds, obviously I don't get the turbo noises, but it is what it is. I'd rather my car operate at the most efficient level possible than to just have some crazy noises that I really do like, but you know, at the detriment of the car. I really want to take care of this car, and I really want it to run the way it should be running. So that's for those of you who are running that a similar setup on stage 2, please be careful with interchanging your parts, because from what I was told, interchanging your intakes will definitely interfere with the tune that you currently have on the car. So do it at your own risk. You definitely will have airflow issues after a while, as I have. So just know that, just keep everything the way it is until you properly tune for another intake. So that's all I got on that part. But let's go on the driving portion, and I will explain to you, you know, the things I've been through with my ownership of this car.
Are you paying attention? Good.
So the question is, do I regret this thing? Do I regret my purchase? The short answer is, hell no, I don't. Not even a little bit. But YouTube don't like short answers sometimes, unless you're doing a short video. So I'll explain why I believe, in my opinion, this is probably most likely the best value daily driver that you can get. So allow me to go over a few things that I believe sets this car apart from a lot of other vehicles, especially for, I mean, if you find a used one for 27, 28 grand, bro. Like, you can't go wrong with a turbocharged full sedan, stock 270 horsepower, quick, can handle like a gazelle, can run, dude. Like, I don't think, and again, most people who probably hate on this car, in my opinion, have never driven it. Because if you look at any car review, no matter the trim level of this car, because obviously, depending on the trim level, I mean, you still ultimately are getting the same driving experience, unless you're going with a GT or a TS, or a TR for that matter, because the suspension's a little bit different. But in my opinion, you will never see someone that drives this car and will tell you that it's a horrible experience. Now, some people will nitpick because they just want to be haters, you know what I mean, as far as like something that really isn't true, but they'll find something to say that they hate about the car, just so they overall will give a similar, you know, even kill review of a car that they already don't like anyway. And example one would be the infotainment system here. Like, there are people, Zygreen, I'm looking at you, that will literally say he wants to punch the infotainment system, and just because he says it's slow. He believes that it's slow. But as you can see, I have CarPlay going, right? So while I'm having CarPlay going, and if as soon as you cut the car on, it flips right to CarPlay within 2 or 3 seconds. And my HVAC system, you know, depending on the weather, I just put it on auto. If you set it to a temperature, it's gonna do what it does. And it's gonna keep your settings even when you cut the car off. So my opinion would be, why would you say that the infotainment system is slow to respond if you can set it and forget it? It doesn't really mean anything. The response of the CarPlay is great. It's as good as any other infotainment system, to be honest. And you know, I don't see any issues with how the current infotainment system architecture works. He's saying laggy. I don't see that. Like, these are things, I've lived with this car every day for 4 months. These are things that I don't see that he complains about, because again, as soon as I cut the car on, it goes straight to CarPlay. I don't even mess with it. But if you want to touch the screen all the time like a child, then you got issues. Then it's gonna be laggy. But if you just plug in your phone in like I am right now, I just plug my phone in, and you know, you just going about your business, because the HVAC system is gonna do, quick secret for you guys, the HVAC system is gonna do what it does. If you put it on auto, it'll set it to where the air needs it the most, and you're fine. You won't really need to set it in anymore. I hardly ever touch the HVAC system unless the rain is really bad, and I need like the defrosters on to clear my windows. Other than that, I'm not really touching it at all. So, you know, to be honest, that is just one of the dumbest complaints about a car I've ever heard, especially knowing that these cars, again, you're not getting a car for the freaking infotainment system. Like, I've seen him drive electric cars and everything in there is touchscreen. But you don't complain about those buttons, or most of these screens are not like very high refresh rate anyway. So you're gonna have these issues to where it's a bit laggy. And if you get into any if you're getting any trim level that has a built-in GPS, a built-in navigation, just disable it, because you're going to use yours anyway. And that also, these problems were in Honda Civics, to be honest. That is probably one of the reasons why it's lagging. If you disable the GPS and not use the dedicated one, because you're going to use CarPlay anyway, it's going to lag. But when you take it off, I bet it runs a lot smoother. This infotainment system I have no issues with. So please don't let that be a deal breaker on you deciding whether you want a car like this. Because again, there are other things. It's a lot of plastic around. Like, so what? Like, if you're getting this car below 30 grand, why would you even care? This car, you're getting something like this for an experience. And the experience is all-wheel drive, quick handling, a car that can pretty much be the jack of all trades. It can do anything that you need this car to do. It can definitely accomplish it. If you want, for example, to me, this is mainly 90% my daily driver, 10% track. So for me, it's going to mainly be, something that's built for roads like these uneven, half-paved, unpaved roads. Like, something that I could just lug around town and have plenty of cargo space for. And there's no shortage of that. A lot of people would say, well, the hatchback has more cargo room. Okay, you could say that in hindsight, but to the untrained eye, you're forgetting something here. You're definitely forgetting something. You can add roof racks to this, from the factory. Actually, I believe they do have some Subaru roof racks. And you can add even way more cargo space. Hell, people go camping in cars like this. You can't do that. You're not doing that with a Type R. You're just not. The use case for a Type R and for this car is two totally different things in certain scenarios. You're not off-roading with that car. You're not going on trails because you're not trying to get it dirty. This car it has cladding everywhere for the purpose of get the shit dirty. Go do whatever you want to do with it. It's rugged. It had, again, I believe this is probably one of the most purpose-built cars that doesn't have a purpose. If you don't think that makes sense, just think about it. It's purpose-built to not have a purpose. It could be any purpose you want it to be. And like I said, for me, it's daily driving and a little bit of track. If you want this to be a time attack car, you could set it up for that. If you want it to just be a really nice looking show car, everything on here is interchangeable. You can interchange almost anything in this car. The shifter, the front grille, the rear diffusers, and all that stuff, F1 lights. This car is like Legos for grown-ups. Anything you want on this thing, you can change to it. Name another car that could do as much as this car can do as far as modding. There's maybe a couple of other options that you have, but not at this price point, unless it's really old and it doesn't hold value. And it's just the truth, man. I don't think there's very many cars that hold a candle to what this car is capable of. And to me, that's what makes this such a great daily driver and something that I'm very, very satisfied with. And I would recommend anybody, if you haven't driven one, obviously some people, the looks are subjective, but you could change that. Those are things you can change. And to be honest, the Subaru never looked good. I've said that before in my other videos. It never was a great looking car, quote unquote. It was just a basic sedan that you can make your own. And I venture to challenge you to go to a Subaru car meet. I guarantee you, even if it's just a current generation VB car meet, I can guarantee you that if you go see that car meet, neither one of these cars are the same. Not one car is the same as the other. Everybody has their own vision within that car, and you can definitely envision something completely different from someone else and have a really good experience with this car. This car is what you make it, you know? It is definitely what you make it, which is why that also holds value. It finds your inner creativity, and it is what you envision it to be. If you want it to look like an STI, it looks just like one. In my opinion, it is better. Oh, well, not my opinion, it's not subjective. It's stats show that this car, it performs better than the STI. So anyway, you know, in my opinion, if you want it to look like an STI, you could do that. If you want it to sound like an STI, you could do that. I haven't even mentioned the exhaust. You know, like, these things are invaluable to cars. You're not a bot. You're not getting a Tesla. You're not, you know, getting a one car that just sits there and charges for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. You could run anything on this car and it'll go. You want this thing to be a rally freaking crazy machine, you could do that too. Just get the crazy suspension, get the little 17, 16-inch wheels with the dirt tires on it. It still looks good no matter what. So, you know, I would just say, man, just get behind the wheel of one and you'll see what I mean instantly. These cars are cheap, and they're probably one of the most old school, analog, modern cars you can drive. All these other cars are super, you know, refined and computerized and more digital. This car is more of just get in and go. It even still has a mechanical handbrake and not an electric one. That goes a long way, you know. And I think, in my opinion, it's one of the best selling points for a car like this. And with that, do I regret having this car for 4 months? Again, no. Is there a better car out there for this price point? That's your opinion. But for me, for this price point, it does everything you need it to do plus more. I'm at 400 and something horsepower now, and to be honest, it's probably one of the, I would say, the best value on the market right now that you can get if you ever had the creativity to want to get a car, a blank canvas, to do what you want with it. And with that, that's all I got, fellas. Enjoy driving. And again, please get out there and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the VB. Has your opinion changed on it? You know, get behind the wheel of one if you had the experience. I'm not saying you gotta go buy one, but just experience it and let me know what you think in hindsight without your pre-prejudice of the cladding or whatever prejudice you got on it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.